You're watching Rules of the Game on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Fowler's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Spees Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
Hello and welcome to Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. Each and every week we try to bring local Rough Rider alum and high school football official Mark Cisco in to talk about some of the clips from the previous week's game. Thanks for coming again, Mark.
Zach, it's always a pleasure to be here.
Mark, it was an extra special week, not only the opening round of the playoffs here at Grand Lake Health System Field, but we also got to have Mark Cisco in the press box with us Friday night. Mark, you were able to jump in and give us some real-time, live rules of the game feedback, and also you were able to speak to me at halftime. What were you doing in that press box? For those who weren't listening or watching.
Officially, I was just watching the game.
Sure.
Unofficially, I was just, basically the crew had asked me if I was going to be there just to record plays for them and record the penalties up in the box. And that's what I did. And after the game, I went down and chatted with him a bit. And there was a couple things that I saw that pointed out to him. But overall, the game was pretty clean overall, and the crew did a nice job. And the game was really probably an easy game to work, truthfully.
When you do that, so what are you looking for? Are you looking for if they made the right call, or are you looking for mechanics?
I'm looking for mechanics more than anything else. What comes up on the field, heck, I'm 50, 60 yards away up in the air, away from the field. So it's more mechanical than anything else. And that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do.
Their position on the field,
initial positions, read and react after the ball is snapped. There's different things that we have to do after the ball is snapped, depending on the type of play, and just signaling and communication, things of that nature. Just things that would improve the officiating. Not only that crew, but those comments are used throughout the state then next year to formulate different mechanics or tweaks to things that are going on.
And that was unofficial last week. Can you do that in an official capacity?
I'm going to be doing that in an official capacity this week.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
Now I was retained. Well, observers are selected to go to certain games and help the crew, and that's what I'm going to be doing at Grand Lake Health Field this Friday night.
Well, I'm excited that you're going to be able to watch another Rough Rider game because
I am too.
You don't get to do it live very often.
I do not. So I'm in the booth Friday night, and then I'm back on the field on Saturday night.
Well, the Riders have Chaminade Julian this week from Dayton. It's always a team that's in our region and division that's always on the radar, perennial playoff team. We beat them on the way to the state championship game my senior year, so I think this is the first time that we've seen them since then. So,
okay,
but definitely a team that we're going to be looking for this week. So hopefully we'll have a good game Friday night.
And then we'll be back again next week, right?
Fortunately, yes. We'll be back here again to talk about the Rough Riders going into the third round of playoffs hopefully next week. So,
okay, great.
Friday night we had a good game with St. Mary's beating the Franklin Wildcats. Wanted to jump right in here to the clips. We have 10 clips to look at today. This first one was just an early interception from St. Mary's. I thought it was a good no personal pass interference call, but just thought maybe you could just build my confidence up by telling me I'm right maybe.
Yeah, there wasn't any really thing there. There's a little bit of hand fighting going on. Not much at all. I mean, the defender puts his hand out, and the offensive guy now is clearly in a bad position. So if there was going to be any interference, probably would have been offensive at that point. That was a good move on the defender right there. Got position, went for the football, looked back for the ball. It was classic. Yeah, that was an easy no call.
I think it was a good job by Brandon Bowers to put himself between the ball and the receiver and go for the ball, not to bodyguard or anything like that.
He's just trying early on to get a fix on where the receiver was, and after that, ball's in there. He's looking, and it satisfies all the requirements that we have. Yep.
This next play is just curious. If you look at the top of your screen, you'll see the Franklin coach.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Extremely out on the field, and he never really changes. He kind of just keeps staying out there throughout the entire play.
Extremely out there. The rules state that when the ball's about to become alive, coaches have to clear that restricted area in between the sideline and the team box. And obviously the official is focused on the line of scrimmage and doesn't see him even in a peripheral way out of his vision. And you'll see some other folks there standing on the field as well. So that should have probably been taken care of early. And we have tools in our repertoire to take care of that. The first one being a sideline warning, which basically says, look, no yardage on this one, but the next one will be. And the second one after that, or the third one, will cost not 5 yards, but 15.
Wow, okay.
So the penalties get progressive and can end, obviously an ejection if a coach receives more than one of those 15-yarders.
Well, I didn't notice it. We'll have to check here on the clips that are coming up towards the end of the game. I didn't notice it Friday night, but I noticed it watching that early on. So they probably addressed it, I'm guessing.
I'm sure that probably somebody did. And it's pretty clear there's folks in that box right there standing with toes on the sideline. That should have been taken care of.
This next play was a false start from St. Mary's. It's a little tough to see from this side view. Unfortunately, this week we didn't have end zone view, so we're not able to see it. I think it was the left guard, though, just flinching just before he pulled.
Must have been. I mean, the umpire in that is looking right, and the guard and the center's there. So something happened where he just went a little early, and that's kind of typical of St. Mary's guards over the years. They're quick to move, to get the pull and everything, and once in a while you just beat the snap count or the ball just a touch.
If we can watch that again, I did see a little bit of a flinch from the running back too, but I really didn't see anything that. And we didn't see it live either,
right,
what caused it. But there's a little bit of a flinch from the running back, but I didn't think that was enough either.
A little bit there. I don't know who they've got. They've got a false start on either the guard, running back, or wherever, and that happens.
Yeah. This next play was another broken up pass from the St. Mary's defense, and I thought it was a good no call again, but this one was a little closer, I think, maybe.
Let's take a look.
Top of your screen here.
The ball was it tipped?
I didn't see it tipped at the line.
Let's see once. Let's because whoever
it was
the
definitely a high
defensive end
throw.
It was. Let's just see once here. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Seems like it was going too fast to be.
Yeah, but that was a bang bang. Let's see if we can look at it one more time and take a look and see. It's a short pass. No, that's good. That's a good play there. There was no contact before the ball got there. And they tell us if it's a bang-bang contact ball at the same time, you're going to err on the side of no call and move on.
Well, Mark, this next play we talked about on Friday night when you came up there, but this was a punt out of bounds.
Okay.
And I just thought we could talk about where and who on the officiating side determines where that goes out of bounds and how, because this was really tough. It was a big shank out of bounds.
Big shank out of bounds, right. And if you notice the referee standing back in his correct position for a punt, he's back there, 5 yards, 10 yards wide of the punter, at least 5 yards deep. In theory, when the ball is kicked and he sees it's going to go out of bounds, he should come up to where the punter contacted the football, so he's got a direct line of sight and try to follow the flight path of the ball. And then you'll see the wing official come down. He's killed the clock, and he will go down past where he thinks the ball went out of bounds and start back upfield. And he'll raise his arm in the air, and then when the referee thinks, okay, the flight path intersects the sideline where the official's coming up, he'll drop the arm, and in theory, that's where the ball goes out of bounds.
And we talked on air on Friday night too that sometimes it's hard to do. It's hard to see, and sometimes you rely on the crowd to kind of say, well, went too far,
or the sideline. Sometimes you use all the visual cues that you have, and you do the best you can, and that's just basically a guess at that point,
right?
Because you really don't know unless you were standing directly under the ball when it crossed the sideline in the air. You really don't know for sure.
And it's easy for us to sit 60 feet up in the air and look down on it.
And quite honestly, the receiving team's not going to say too much because they get the ball back.
Right.
And the kicking team, they're just happy to get it out of where they were. So, set it down and let's play.
Sure. We talked about this next play as well. This was the block below the waist called against the defense. So St. Mary's is running, I believe, a sweep to the left side.
To our side, yep.
And right there, we see on the 20-yard line Franklin defender come in and take out the pulling guard's legs.
I'm wondering if he got tripped in any way. Nope. Maybe by his own guy. But he goes down head first. That's a call. Now, I talked to the umpire after the game, and he got to thinking about that. He wasn't sure that maybe he got tripped and knocked into it. In either case, it is a definite block below the waist, and it was a good call by the umpire to get that. I
liked it because we see
he
it called so much on offense and it happens on the defense and it just doesn't get called very much.
It does because it's tough to catch. You don't expect a defensive player to come in there and take somebody out like that.
Right.
But that was a good call. He definitely took out the lead guard and it cost him.
Well, and back-to-back, then we had after Franklin scored on an interception return, they kicked the ball off, and on this kick, they were also called for blocking.
Yes,
below
they
the
were.
waist.
I think the wing guy got that one.
And you can see the actual block itself caused the running back to fly over the top of it right there at the 25-yard line.
That was a good call as well. That was right there. The Franklin coach couldn't believe it because he's never had anything like that called against his team in the last 35 years, he claimed. So could be.
Yeah.
But in fact, it was there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you play all year and maybe you don't have it done. Well, maybe you didn't get it called, or maybe all of a sudden, we think we're free to do anything we like out there. So it's a good get.
Well, and it's tough when you're talking about trying to blow up a kick return wall.
Yep.
It's scary to go straight at them. So you do see them dive sometimes
You
and try
do
to take
sometimes.
their legs out.
You
so.
do,
And that's not safe, though.
No, this
either.
is not safe. It's not safe for anybody, and that's why that's illegal now. Yep.
This next play was a kickoff from St. Mary's and a kick return from Franklin. And the ball, I think, unintentionally was kicked by the kick returner.
Okay.
So I guess that was a question for me is, does it have to, is intentional kicking on the ground while the ball is there illegal?
That's a good question. In that case, no. He's muffed the football. He's just attempting to pick it up. In order for us to call an illegal batting or an illegal kicking like that, we're told that you must have no doubt that he's tried to swat it or kick it intentional to have a call. Now, it's possible if he intentionally kicked it, there'd be a foul right there, sure. But I think he just muffed it and inadvertently kicked it. So it's good no call there.
But it can be if it's intentional for intentional batting. I thought
Absolutely.
so. And I clearly that was not intentional. It would have been a really bad intentional thing to do. But just made me think about it, and it's something.
Yeah, in that case, if we had the foul there and it was accepted by the writers, all they would have gotten out of it was just we're going to go back and re-kick.
Oh, okay.
So either that or just decline it, and Franklin would have taken it where they had it, but they could have, writers could have moved it up another 10 yards and maybe tried an onside, or you put it in the end zone at that point.
But the big difference between intentional and non-intentional batting. So, Okay, well, right here, Mark, was a punt that the ball was snapped over the punter's head. Sharp for St. Mary's is back there, and I think he kind of holds the punter back to give his twin brother the chance to grab the ball.
You noticed that as well,
huh?
Yeah. When that happened, and I went in the booth, I thought the same thing, and I would have supported the flag by the referee right there for holding on the receiving team at that point. So
I just wanted to point that out, that you can have a holding all over the field for different reasons.
That's sure, he tried to keep that guy away from there, and I'm surprised there wasn't a foul. Now the question becomes, if he flags that, what are we going to do penalty wise? Where are we going to go? Well, the answer to that is we're going to go back to the previous spot, mark it against 10 yards against the St. Mary's Rough Riders, and Franklin will either have a first down or it'll be fourth and whatever it was.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what the situation was at that point.
Because the possession hadn't changed yet, because nobody had picked up the ball.
You've got a loose ball play. So if this is the play, fourth and maybe 6 or 7. So we add 10 yards to that. Franklin's going to get a first down at that point.
Wow. So a snap over the head could have turned into a holding that went the other direction.
A great big loss turns into a 10-yard penalty going the other way if the flag would have flown. So was it enough? I'm not standing down there. I don't know, but the film sure makes it look like it was.
Yeah, I saw it from the press box when it happened.
I did too.
And I thought, that's interesting. That looks like we got away with one there. Maybe
now, if he would have just blocked him, kept him away from it, fine, great, not a problem. Or pushed him even away from it, hine.
Or even put his body, held in front of him.
But when he wrapped up, that probably would have been enough.
Box him out like a basketball player. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I had the right instinct on that.
Yes, you did.
I guess.
Yes, you did.
This next, it was one of the final plays of the game. I think a minute 2 left. Unfortunately, a personal foul was called on St. Mary's for pushing after the play. This was an interception return. So you'll see at the top of your screen here, around the 35-yard line, St. Mary's player gets pushed down. Somebody answers, and then a St. Mary's player points at the scoreboard.
Yeah, and that's
and I saw a second penalty called. The hat came off.
The hat came off.
They signaled taunting and personal foul, but then we only had a personal foul on the field.
They only marched off the one, yeah. So it's St. Mary's has a football, and you can see probably right there. That's the foul right there, and then you'll see maybe the point right there. So that's what both fouls were. The first one's a personal foul,
late hit.
Yep,
unnecessary roughness.
Right. The second one was considered unsportsmanlike conduct. Now they only marked off one. Because what happened was when they got together and talked about it, they decided that if we don't have a number to pin that on, then we're not going to enforce it.
So they knew somebody pointed at the scoreboard, but
they didn't
figure out
know
who
at
it
that
was.
point. By then, everybody's mixed around, and at that point, so it could have been not only 15 yards, but another 15 after that. And then the UNS, unsportsmanlike conduct, would have been charged to one of the players. And the big significance with that is if that player gets a second one in the game, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the chances of that happening are slim at that point.
Right.
So they decided, minute and a half left to go in the game, running clock. What's the point? So we're just going to move on.
Okay.
And the Franklin sideline was okay with it, and we just all they wanted at that point was to go home.
Right.
So,
well, we moved on from that, so something for the future Rough Rider players to look at in the future and make sure they don't get any.
Now, on my
calls.
day, and probably yours too, when Coach Bachman was around, he told us, look, if somebody gets in your face like that, all you want to do is just point at the scoreboard. Because most of the time we were up, and that's the way it was.
Right. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to, let the scoreboard do your talking.
In any kind of extracurriculars, because he always said, and Joe can bear me out, and you can too, if you want to fight or do something like that, we'll take the equipment off after the game and sell tickets, and we'll do it that way. So
don't fight during the game, and let the scoreboard do your talking.
That's exactly
talking.
right. So,
but now we got to watch that because we can't always point that too. So. Well, I thank you again for going through the clips with me, Mark. We'll hopefully be back next week for some clips from the St. Mary's victory over Dayton Chaminade Julian, and we'll see everybody next week.
You're watching Rules of the Game on Rider Nation Station, brought to you by Minster Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods, American Legion Post 323, Valor's TV, Eagles Lodge 767, Speckman Automotive, Auglaze Audiology, Rabel's Auto Service, American Manufacturing Solutions, VFW 9289, Auglaze Equipment Rental, Guarneri's Pizzeria, Vogel's Bake Shop, Schaff Auto Sales, Miller Funeral Homes, and Speed's Chiropractic and Wellness Center. Thanks for watching another episode of Rider Nation Station. Help us help you by subscribing on YouTube or following us on Facebook.